أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم وفقنا وسائر المشتغلين للعلم والعمل الصالح بحق محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, charity prevents 70 different types of adversities. Charity prevents 70 different types of adversities. The simplest of them being elephantiasis and leprosy. The simplest of them being elephantiasis and leprosy. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: الصدقة تمنع 70 نوعا من أنواع البلاء. الصدقة تمنع 70 نوعا من أنواع البلاء. أهونها أو أهونها الجذام والبرص. أهونها الجذام والبرص. With Islamic laws, we reach to issue number 1083. Things on which prostrating is permissible. Sajda should be performed on earth and on those things which are not edible nor worn, and on things which grow from earth, like to say wood and leaves of trees. So when we sajda, means the place where we put our forehead on in obligatory salah or in recommended salah. In this case, sajda should be performed on things. These things shouldn't be worn, and these things shouldn't be edible. Like what? Like things which grow from earth, and like wood, leaves. These things we can perform our sajda on. But things just like our cloth, it is not accepted to perform sajda on. It is not permissible to perform sajda on things which are used as food or dress. It is not permissible to use things for performing sajda like food and dress. For example, wheat, barley, and cotton. Everything which is used for eating, and things which used to wear from clothes, it is not allowed to perform sajda on it. Or on things which are not considered to be parts of the earth, like to say gold, silver, etc. And in the situation of helplessness, that means this person, he cannot obtain the things which it is right to perform sajda on. He cannot, even he does not have an assistant, or he is unable to do these things. Or on things which are not considered to be parts of the earth, like gold, silver, etc. And in the situation of helplessness, asphalt and tar will have preference over other non-allowable things. In case there is nothing of these things which are grown from earth and it is allowed to perform sajda on it, there is a priority of other things. The priority will be for tar. You know what's the meaning of tar? التار الزفت، هذا القطران الزفت بالضبط الزفت. Tar will have preference over other non-allowable things. Non-allowable things. So if you do not have the ability to have the good things and you have these tar and asphalt, so it's better for you to perform sajda on asphalt and tar. Issue number 1084. Sajda should not be performed on the vine leaves when they are delicate and hence edible. Some kinds of leaves or tree leaves, they used to be eaten. They used to be eaten. Yes, it is the leaf of trees, but they used to be eaten. Just like ورق العنب. We eat them, okay? Sajda should not be performed on the vine leaves when they are delicate and hence edible. Otherwise, there is no objection. Otherwise, that means if I have another leaves which they are not edible by a human being, by mankind, I can perform sajda on them. But if the leaves are considered to be edible, in this case, I cannot perform sajda on. Issue number 1085. It is in order to perform sajda on things which grow from the earth and serve as fodder or animals. Alaykum salam rahmatullah wa barakatuh, Sayyid. Sakum Allah bil khair. It is in order to perform sajda on things which grow from the earth and serve as fodder for animals, like grass, hay, etc. Some other things which grow from the earth, but it could be eaten by the animals, but not by the mankind, like a grass. Okay? These things we can perform sajda on, because we are not eating it. Yes, the animal are eating them. It doesn't matter. We can perform sajda on it. Issue number 1086. It is in order to perform sajda on flowers which are not edible and also on medicinal herbs which grow from the earth. Okay, some of the grass, they are not what? They are not edible, but we can use it for medicine, to make medicine. Some of flowers, some of kind of herbs. These things we use them to perform what? Can we use them for performing sajda on them? Yes, we can. Absolutely, yes, we can perform them or use them to perform sajda on them. Why? Because they are not edible by mankind, but we can use them as what? As medicine. Issue number 1087. Performing sajda on a grass which is eaten in some parts of the world, but not in the rest. but it is classified as edible, will not be permissible, will not be permissible. Similarly, sajda on raw fruits is not allowed. Okay, now some of the grass which is being eaten in some countries, but they are not being eaten with the other countries. Now, can we use them can we use them to perform sajda on? Sistani said it is not permissible, since that some people they use it to eat it. Yes, the rest of the people they do not eat it, they do not use it for eating it, but there are some people they use it to eat, so it is not permissible to perform sajda on. It is not permissible to perform sajda on. And the same thing about the raw fruits. You know what's the meaning of raw fruits? Yes, just like date, apples, grapes, and so on. Can we perform sajda on? No, we cannot. We cannot perform sajda on raw fruits. Issue number 1088. It is allowed to perform sajda on limestone and gypsum. You know limestone, هذا الحجر الكلسي, or gypsum, هذا يسمونه ثرمستون أو شيء يسمونه طباشير, gyps بالضبط. So it is allowed. So it is permissible to perform sajda on limestone and gypsum, but the recommended precaution is that sajda should not be optionally performed on baked gypsum. How? If I have natural gypsum and baked gypsum, you know, الجبس المفخور, and natural gypsum, the gypsum that we find it in nature. If I have option, or if I have a choice to perform sajda, which one I have to choose? I have to choose the natural one. The natural one. It is allowed to perform sajda on limestone and gypsum, but the recommended precaution is that sajda should not be optionally performed on baked gypsum, lime, brick, and baked earthenware. So this is as a recommended precaution. As a recommended precaution, it is not allowed, or it is not be optionally performed. It is not allowed, but it is not optionally allowed. If you have another choice, you have to choose the other one, not to choose this one. For example, if you have baked gypsum and natural gypsum, and you have the option, you have to choose what? You have to choose the natural gypsum. And the same thing for baked gypsum, lime, brick, and baked earthenware, etc. يعني الفخار هذا الفخار الطين المفخور طابوق brick. So هاي التنقة البستوقة اوكي هاي مفخورة. إذا عندك تراب آخر وهذا المفخور، فايش راح تختار؟ تختار هذا التراب الأيسر، تقول مو هذا أصلا ترى إذا بيدك الاختيار تكون ما تختار هذا، تختار هذا as a recommended precaution. Go ahead and pray. Go ahead, pray. It doesn't matter. Issue number 1089. It is in order to perform sajda on paper if it is manufactured from allowed sources like wood or grass, and also if it is made from cotton or flax يعني كتان, but if it is made from silk, gold, silver, it is not sajda on it, will not be permissible. So the thing that we perform sajda on it should be made from made from a manufactured things. It doesn't matter, just like these things made of wood or grass or yes, it doesn't matter, or flax or cotton, doesn't matter, just like a tissue, even a paper, or piece, even the piece of money, doesn't matter, it's okay. Issue number 1090. Turbat al-Hussein alayhi salam is the best thing for performing sajda. Turbat al-Hussein is the best thing for performing sajda. After it, there is earth, stone, and grass in order of priority. If you have the options and you have Turbat al-Hussein, and also after Turbat al-Hussein, you have many options. First of all, to pray on Turbat al-Hussein because it has the priority to pray. You know, Turbat al-Mawla Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, it has, first of all, it is from the earth. Second thing, it has connected to Imam Hussein. And Imam Hussein, he is the one who keeps the salah. Without his blood, without he has been defending the Islam and the principles of Islam, Islam is not here nowadays. We cannot hear the adhan, we cannot see people praying. But because of Imam Hussein, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh, we found Muslims nowadays. And Muslims are everywhere. In spite of some of them, they are evildoers. Some of them are not really fulfill or achieve the whole principles of Islam, but they are Muslims. Because of whom? Because of Imam Hussein. So this is the blessing of Allah and the charity of Allah to Imam Hussein, that whenever you pray on Turbat al-Hussein, your prayer will be different, really different, and has more charity than the other things, even from the earth, even from the leaves of the trees, and so on. Turbat al-Hussein is the best thing for performing sajda. After Turbat al-Hussein, there is earth, stone, and grass in order of priority. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
Is there any condition that can be on the turba to be considered or called as Turbat al-Imam al-Hussein? As you know that many or some can be made in other cities, and also some people ask for Turbat al-Imam al-Hussein especially.
Yeah. Look, my dear, definitely whenever that or wherever that Turbat al-Hussein becomes closer from the grave of Imam Hussein, definitely this turba will be more blessing or will be more blessings than the other places, number one. And in Karbala, um, really it is narrated from Ahlul Bayt Salamullahi alayhim that when doomsday is in Karbala, the area of Karbala will raise from the earth, and it will be where? In heaven, in Jannah. This is the earth of Karbala. Okay, where are the limits? Where are the limits of Karbala? Actually, it is not only the place where the holy body of Imam Hussein salawatullahi wasalamu alayhi is being buried, but it is, I think, 5 miles all around from all directions. These all, we call it Karbala, and each part from it, it is what? It is sacred, and it has its own sanctity, number one. Number two, if people from the other cities, other countries, they make turba, and they call it Turbat al-Hussein, and they start to pray on it, can we respect it just like this turba? Of course, yes. Of course, yes. And it has the same kind of sanctity. It has the same kind of respect for this such kind. And we can, all the ahkam of Turbat al-Hussein will be implied to this. And even the salah will have the priority on this Turbat al-Hussein better than the stone or leaves or other things or earth. You got the idea? Okay. Issue number 1090. Turbat al-Hussein is the best thing for performing sajda. After it, there is earth, stone, and grass in order to of priority. Issue number 1091. If a person does not possess anything on which it is allowed to perform sajda, no Turbat al-Hussein, no earth, no stone, none of these things are in his hand to perform sajda on. Or even if he possesses such a thing, he cannot perform sajda on it due to severe heat or cold. Maybe he has what? He has Turbat al-Hussein, but he cannot pray on it. Maybe it is so cold. Maybe he has a stone, it is very cold. Or maybe this stone itself, or this earth itself is what? Is najis or mutanajjis. He cannot perform sajda on it. Alright, there are many reasons. He should perform sajda on asphalt. Asphalt, you know, al-qir. Or tar, أو الزفت. And if that is not possible, if he cannot also, or he does not have asphalt or tar, on his dress, he can perform sajda where? On his dress. Or the back of his hand. If he cannot also perform sajda, he can use his dress, or he can use what? He can use the back of his hand to perform sajda instead of what? Instead of his cloth. So we have the earth, we have a stone, we have Turbat al-Hussein before, and the stone, and if he does not have that, he will have the instead asphalt or tar. If he does not have the asphalt or tar, he will have what? His cloth. Look, we have steps. I cannot move from Turbat al-Hussein to the back of my hand if I have what? If I have stone, if I have earth, if I have asphalt, or if I have a tar. I have to find all these things. After the cloth, he can perform sajda on the back of his hand, or anything on which it is not permissible to perform sajda optionally. Anything which it is not perform sajda optionally. What is that? What is that? If you remember, we just take it. It is the baked gypsum. If I have option, it is recommended not to pray on it. I have to choose something. For example, I have natural gypsum and what? And baked gypsum. So they recommended not to choose the baked one. I have to choose what? The natural one. This is what I'm talking about. On his address or back of his hand, or on anything on which it is not permissible to perform sajda optionally. However, in such a situation, the recommended precaution is that as long as it is possible to perform sajda, the recommended precaution is that as long as it is possible, if there is any possibility to perform sajda on his dress, he should not do sajda on any other things. If he has a choice, to pray on his dress, and also he has the ability to perform sajda where? On the back of his hand. So it is recommended to perform sajda on his dress and not do sajda on any other things, if there is what? If there is possibility. Issue number 1092. These are very important issues, my brothers. These are very important issues to understand, because first of all, we are going to act according these issues, and second, people, they are going to ask us, because you are scholars. Issue number 1092, the sajda performed on mud, you know mud, and on soft clay, mud and soft clay, on which one's forehead cannot rest steadily. Cannot rest steadily, that means this, there is what? There is, it is motionless. It is motion. It is motion. He cannot stay steady to perform sajda. Sajda performed on mud and on soft clay, on which one's forehead, maybe the sponge, you know, sphinge, yes. One's forehead cannot rest steadily, is void. The sajda is void. And if the sajda is void, exactly. Yes. Issue number 1093. If the turba of Imam Hussein, you know, turba is Turbeh. If the turba sticks to the forehead in the first sajda, it happens many times. If your forehead is wet because of sweatness or because of water, of ablution, so the turba will stuck here. When you raise your head, the turba is still stuck right here. If the turba is stuck or sticks to the forehead in the first sajda, it should be removed from the forehead for the second sajda. Not leave it here and go back for second sajda. You should remove it, put it back, and then do the second sajda. Otherwise, it will be the first sajda. Issue number 1094. If a thing on which a person, because if the turbas still stick on your forehead, even you raise your head from the ground, but still the turba were on your forehead, our condition to make a second sajda is that to remove your head from where? From the place where you perform sajda, from the turba. But the turba is still there, so you are still where? In the first sajda. You should remove it. If a thing on which we or a person performs sajda gets lost, this is issue number 1094. Like sometimes the kids, they took it, they snapped it. Okay? If a thing on which a person performs sajda gets lost while he is offering a prayer and he does not possess any other thing on which sajda is allowed, nothing else is what is found here, which it is allowed. No paper, no leaves of trees, nothing. And he does not possess any other thing on which sajda is allowed. And if he tries to get it, his prayer will be void. Maybe the turba is there, but if he moves there, there is this, his movement will change the mood of the salah. And if he changed the mood of the salah, his salah will be what? His salah will be void. Yes, and if he tries to get it, his prayer will be void. He can act as explained in Rule 1091. 1091. To find on his cloth, if he cannot, on the back of his hand. If he can, and he is wearing a ring with a natural stone, just like agate, this is allowed to perform sajda on. This is allowed to perform sajda on. Irrespective of whether the time for salah is limited or ample, doesn't matter. Issue number 1095. If a person realizes in the state of sajda that he has placed his forehead on a thing on which sajda is void, just like a dung, while he is performing his sajda, he realizes that he put his forehead where? On a dung. You know the meaning of dung. Roth. Azallah Sam. If a person realizes in the state of sajda that he has placed his forehead on a thing on which sajda is void, and if he becomes aware of it after completing the obligatory dhikr, after finishing the obligatory dhikr, he realizes that he put his forehead where? On a dung, for example. He can raise his head and continue with his prayer. He can raise his head and continue his prayer. But if he becomes aware of it, that, what does mean it? That he puts his forehead on a thing which is not permissible to perform sajda on. Before reciting the obligatory dhikr, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih, before reciting Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih, the obligatory dhikr, he should gradually slide or move his foot. Look, slide. Here, I will slide my head like this. Slide it. Not to raise it up. No, to slide it. Yes. He should gradually slide or move his head onto an allowed object. Onto a loud object, excuse me, and recite the dhikr, the obligatory dhikr, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih. But if that is not possible, that the whole in front of him, or there is nothing is permissible to perform sajda on. But if that is not permissible, to slide his head or to move his head, he should recite the obligatory dhikr and continue with his salah. He should recite, because he does not have anything to switch with this thing where he put his forehead on. He should recite the obligatory dhikr and continue with his salah. His prayer in both cases will be valid if he does not have anything instead. Issue number 1096. If a person realizes after sajda, that he had placed his forehead on a thing which is not permissible for sajda. Look, if a person realizes after sajda that he had placed his forehead on a thing which is not permissible for sajda, there is no objection. Why? Because after he finished the sajda, then he realizes that he put, for example, his head where? On a dung. He finished his sajda. So his salah is valid and nothing to him. Last issue, issue number 1097. It is haram to perform sajda for anyone other than Almighty Allah. Okay, how about, there is a question. I'll stop right here, there is a question. How about the people whom they perform sajda when they enter to haram of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, or when they are so close to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and they perform sajda? Exactly. Yes. Exactly. They seek nearness to Allah, that they reach and visit Al-Mawla Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, and to say thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave them this great gift, that they are in the holy shrine of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So it is not performing sajda to Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein, he deserves that. But I'm not going to disobey the orders and to perform sajda to anybody except to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is haram to perform sajda for anyone other than Almighty Allah. Some people place their forehead on earth before the graves of the holy Imams. If this is done to thank Allah, there is no harm in it. But otherwise it is haram. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم.